And it is on page 4 of the Daily Nation. Use single system for tax collection. This is President Uhuru Kenyatta who says that 11 different systems limit revenue gained by the government. The president has ordered the creation of a single revenue collection system in the country, and he was lamenting that the national and the 47 county governments currently rely on 11 different revenue collection systems, leading to wastage of resources and duplication of efforts. Do you think this would be the ultimate solution to ensuring that we're able to meet our targets? I think in the last financial year, the target was about 1.6. They missed it by almost 20% or thereabout. Do you think this is going to resolve that situation?
Well, there are a number of ways of encouraging people to pay taxes. One is to make them affordable and easy to also pay. And I think that's how the government should be thinking, not just the punitive ways of making people look like we are paying the poll tax that our people used to run away from Muzungu farms. Number two, it's a good idea, but I think the president, what he should have done is to do consultation, because as we said off camera, some of the counties have started their own systems, and therefore it means when they transfer to the new system, the money that they have used to set up their systems will be a lot of money down the drain. So in the long run, we are also losing some good money because of quick decision making. And, you know, it's not quick, I would say almost erratic decision making. Because government should work in a seamless way. When you want to bring change, you bring change, but you face it out in a way that nobody loses any revenue in the process. Because even 10, 20, 50 million is a lot of money to any county or to any entity. So I think that should be the way things should be done.
Okay, the president is talking about a multi-agency approach, which he says has worked in other sectors, and so he's hoping that all these systems can be sort of integrated into one. Is that a good route?
In fact, that's the best news I think I've read for the week. And if you look at how it was set up earlier on, is that every small agency had their own little technology. That's what they were running. You see, when you bring these agencies together, when the president's talking about a multi-agency, you want all of them to talk to one another. When you bring in KRA under the same roof with, you know, revenue allocation, and you bring them with the counties, the various facets that counties are using, you have a platform actually of seeing how can we improve a system to what Waziri is saying, that first of all, it is easy to use, it's available, and instead of using archaic methods of following people, they are able to even do it at the confines of their home. It has worked in so many other jurisdictions, and actually this is the best way to go. What I find a little bit off is that all these agencies earlier on are not talking to one another. And Waziri, this probably, all this, I mean, they're in government. I think we need to come or find a policy that says the government must work as one. And the best example I get, even though it's not in our jurisdictions, is prior to September 11th. When America, after they were hit, they realized this agency, that agency, and the other agency were not talking to one another. So how are we to implement and ensure that these bad people don't come into our country? It is the very same thing, even though it's a different example. It's the very same thing. If you're collecting from your own source or technology, he's doing something opposite. When do you get that time to consolidate, and how much time are you wasting and losing? Before now you consolidate, this is what we have, the revenue allocation comes in, this is what you will get. It is a total, you know, waste not only of time but resources, but it's just showing that the government is not talking to one another. And as government, it should be, you know, formulated under one platform where we say, this is what we have collected, or Waziri, this is what we have, this is what we need to go to various facets, you know, whether it's departments or whether it's counties, and they are able to speak on, and at least come with a very good formula of showing Mwananchi that here is our audit. And I think this is a very good direction that the president has actually initiated.
Okay, finally,
actually, you know, I can see the pain of the president when he talks about revenue. You know, revenue is the basis of any development for a country. So when the president discusses revenue, I know his greatest pain is the big four agenda, is legacy, because without revenue, then that remains a dream. But I think the president wanting to cement his legacy within the next layers is quite a tall order for him, because it seems to be being done in a bit disorganized way, to say, I'm sorry. Because if I look at the Agenda 4, and I was trying to compare it in Parliament another day with Vision 2030. Vision 2030, and a very clear strategy, and a very clear secretariat that was looking at Vision 2030. But if I look at Agenda 4 today, where is the coordination point for Agenda 4? Where is it coordinated from? Because Agenda 4, it's a very good idea, but if you look at how disintegrated it's being implemented in a very disintegrated way. So I thought the president first should have started with a policy paper for Vision 20 for the Big Four agenda, that by this time, you know, when we say we want to become an industrialized country, what about industrial? What industries are we talking about? Where are we doing them? So I know that when we say we want to be a food stable country, we want to be very food secure in terms of food. How are we achieving this? How are we becoming stable in terms of food? So I know that is his problem when he talks about revenue. But going back to the question about the one system, I think it's a good idea, because we are losing so much revenue in county government. Because what happens in most county government, when you are allowed to have your own private company or way, jumbo pin of collecting revenue, then it leaves a very big loophole that you can work with them. That you can work with, you can work with this private company.
What did you say, jumbo pay?
I'm giving an example. I'm giving an example of the one I know, the one that is used by most counties to collect revenue. The one I know mostly is jumbo pay. Most governors are using it. As a private company, as a private entity, it's very easy to be misused. It's a loophole that can be misused. So as much as counties have spent a lot of money buying these private mechanisms of revenue collection, I think it's the high time that central bank now took over and directed counties on how we collect revenue.
Right. Central Bank or KRA.
And as I finish, you know, I've never understood whether revenue collection is a county function or a national function, because it's a confusion.
I think it should be a national function. You know?
Well, it depends on which revenue, because even county governments
have
levies to charge.
Yes.
But you see, that's why I'm talking about a good national system.
Okay.
Because it trickles down. Like, for instance, every county you go to, it is different. They're collecting money differently. And you know, at the end of the day, this money is submitted to counties. Some of this money actually, and I don't know why counties may thought like this, very few counties submit that money to the national government. But
there's a lot of underbanking of revenue in county government.
But that's how it's supposed to go. So who is best suited to come up with a system of collecting revenue? Is it on the national government? Because they would have a better bird's eye view of what each and every county, you know, collects. And that's why Mheshimiwa is saying there's so serious underbanking.